Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining wherever you're joining from. Always nice to see where people are coming from on the map here. Let's go. Let's go see what's going on in the chat. Already got some questions coming in. Reminder: if you do have a question, start your message with the letter Q, and it'll make it easier for me to spot on my screen as we get going and as the chat picks up. Welcome everybody. Welcome. I'm probably going to keep it a little bit on the short side today because I need to get the rig packed up for the bike ride this afternoon. Photo booth is set up on the little cart. I've got the iMac sitting on top. I've got the sign. I've got the wires for the iPads and everything. It's batteries in there charged. And it's going to be, I hope it works. I hope it doesn't fall apart on the way there. I will try to shoot some B-roll. I'm going to bring the Pocket 3 today. I'm going to try to shoot some B-roll clips that I can stitch together to show you next week how it all went. iMac got a new one. No, it's an old one. I got a 2005 iMac, and I took all the guts out, and I replaced the screen with an HDMI monitor that happens to be exactly the same size. And so now it's a monitor that looks like an iMac, old iMac. By the way, if anybody needs parts from a 2005 iMac, I have all the parts disassembled in a box, and I'm going to try to sell them so that they can go to a good home for someone who's trying to restore an iMac. Cool. All right. IT Never Gets Old has an actual question. Fantastic. Is there a way to on the ATEM to keep an upstream key on air between switches? I always have to remember to include it in my companion automations, and I want it to just persist. Excellent question. Multiple parts to this answer. So let me first show you the software control for an ATEM. So we're going to go and I'm going to go into here. So there is a setting first. Sorry, not software control. ATEM setup. In ATEM setup, hello, there it is. In the ATEM setup, there is a setting here called, it's in the panel section. So there's this setting, stay on with transition, stay on with transition. Now this is only affecting the physical button presses on the ATEM. So if you're using the buttons on the ATEM and you have a key enabled, then pushing the camera switch button will either turn off the transition or stay on depending on this setting. So that's one part. But I think you said you were using companion, right? So if you're using companion to automate and do switches, then that takes me to the second part of the answer, which is this button. I actually need to go to an ATEM that is not going to mess up my stream while I'm on air. So we're going to go up to Lily's and I'm going to mess hers up. This is the one sitting upstairs. So if you have camera 1 selected and you're queued up for camera 2, and then you have you can turn on and off the upstream key with this button. But if this one is toggled, then when you do a auto transition or cut, it'll toggle it with it. If that's not enabled, it will keep it on. So see how I'm toggling between the two camera angles, and then that's stuck because this one is not turned on. So that's the other part of the answer. If you are doing this in companion, then so the problem is that it's very easy for this setting to accidentally get changed for various reasons, whether it's some other companion action that you have, or you press the button once or whatever. So whenever I'm making companion automations, I always try to recreate the scene for the button from scratch rather than treating it like I would the control panel, because it's hard to tell what state the switcher might be in. And so super source gets me around this most of the time. But if I'm doing things like using an actual picture-in-picture, then I will try to make a companion button that will assume that the switcher is in any state and always apply all the button presses needed to rebuild that scene. So yeah, hopefully that gives you some ideas. TVJ says, well, I can actually join the live for a little bit. Welcome. Good to have you here. J3NN, thank you for your educational videos. Thank you for allowing me to learn from your wealth of tech knowledge and wisdom. Your admirer from Costa Rica. Well, thanks. That's very sweet. Gwen says, is your goal to make all your monitors look like old Macs? Also thinking of your Mac in your background. Yeah, exactly. How many more should I do? I gotta find, gotta find some more I can convert. Carlinator says, I'm new to live streaming, mostly do video conferencing where I'm the talking talent teaching how to use radio communication. Oh, is there a second part to your question? That's cool though. Teaching how to do radio communication. What kind of radios? I'm curious. Cool. Okay. Well, that was a nice little fun demo for the morning. Oh, I saw Nils at the beginning notice that my mic was hot. I was this mic was not hot. This is the one that's just out of the frame up there. That was off. So the icon on my Stream Deck was not lit. But the other mic, the mic that was hot, was the one over on the wall, because yesterday I was filming, or not yesterday, Friday I was filming, no, Thursday. What day did I film? Thursday I filmed. Filmed a video for a conference that I'm doing later, and so that's this shot, which is now, not lit because I flipped the light back around. I have it set up here where I can, let me see if I can show the set over there. Yeah. Oh my God. What a mess. So that wall there's a camera right up there behind that light, and I flip this light around to light my face when I'm up against that wall. And I have a mic up there, and that mic was hot because that's the last thing I was doing with it. Andre says, what was that iMac with the big fat bottom? That's a really prime candidate. Oh yeah. The other one I was thinking of was the bubble ones, with the fun colors. It was actually surprisingly hard to find those shells online. It was a CRT. What was it? The iMac was it G3? Yeah. The G3 iMac. I was thinking about doing this one. But it's a CRT and round, because it's a CRT, it's like bulgy. So I wasn't totally sure if I would be able to put a panel behind that very well without it having weird gaps. Plus, it was really hard to find online shelled, already cleaned out Macs. I found some of the just this top panel because people were replacing them or whatever. And I didn't want to take out the CRT myself because that just sounded like too much work. So I was not convinced this one would be possible. So I went for the G5. Yeah, this one instead. And I had to take the entire thing apart. It was actually kind of a project. And then it turns out the one that I bought had the stand had been bent. I don't know how. It's like half-inch thick aluminum. Somehow it got bent, and there was no way I could bend it back into shape. And I had to buy a replacement stand. And So that was like a lot of pieces to get out in order to actually replace that part. But yeah, it was fun little project. Australia is blocked from the view. Oh, the YoloBox is in the way of Australia. I'm gonna have to fix that because so I'm. You might notice the number of switchers over here is increasing. I'm setting up the lab up there. I'm gonna call it the lab, I think, and I have RØDECaster video, GoStream, ATEM, SproLink, YoloBox, and there's one more somewhere that I need to put up there. I forget which one. I forget which one. Anyway, I'm gonna have like 5 or 6 switchers up there, all with video signals being routed into them, and then put a camera or 2 up there so I can go over there and actually do live demos of the switchers, so that I can show you what's going on with all of them without having to pull them down here and set them up every time. Oh, the Director Mini, and that's the one that's on my desk right now. That's the other one that's going to go there. So I think I need that second row to be on a little riser so that you can see them better in this shot, which means more of the TV is going to get blocked. So I think I might have to lift the TV up a notch also. Call it the launch pad. Yeah, it'd be pretty good too. Oh, Andre is referring to the G4. Oh, the lampshade one. I also thought about that one. And here's why I decided on this one. This was, yeah, also a very iconic design. However, all the computer bits are in this base, and the top part really is just a monitor. And it's also extremely thin. And I was not convinced I would be able to find any space inside that top panel to replace it with my own monitor and also then run the wires through that little thing. So, and then obviously it's not an HDMI monitor. It's it's, you know, its own hardwired to the main board. So, that also I didn't think that was going to work. Maybe I should do an iPod next. I like seeing your mess. Makes me feel better about my mess. It's someday I'm gonna clean this up. TVJ says, have you ever used an AI programming tool? If so, which one? I have done very little. I've just done like ChatGPT, ask it questions about how to write, like tell it to write functions for me. It's pretty good at like getting a first pass of code out of the way, because like I don't necessarily remember all the function names that I need, and it's like it'll get I tell it to do like very specific things. I'm like, write a function that'll sort this by blah blah blah, like given 2 arrays as an input, whatever, right? And it'll do a pretty good job. And because it's a relatively small scope of what I'm asking it to do, I can also review it quickly and say like, that clearly doesn't make any sense, go fix it, or like I would do this differently. But it's nice to just like get quickly get some of that stuff done that's more fiddly for me. So, but I haven't done very much. I definitely haven't like done the whole like build an actual app. IT never gets old. Needs to be very careful about CRT power supplies, even ones that are ancient. Yeah, totally. When I was working on I have another one of these Macs that I actually got working again. Like I replaced the hard drive with a hard drive emulator that's running on a little Raspberry Pi, so I can plug in SD cards and use an SD card as a hard drive. Also, like a lot faster, not having to run a spinning disk, and a lot quieter. But yeah, that was definitely scary, poking around the power supply, because also I then plugged it in, so it was all charged. So yeah. Magewell director question: would you recommend it for a kitchen studio that operates 9 to 5 daily? Probably need a pretty robust stand for it and a stream deck. That sounds like a fun project. So this is the oops. This is the stand that I have for mine, the PK1 stand. It tips it at a good angle. Let's see, where's my other? That camera is gone. Oops, this one. You can see it tips it up nicely, so it's a little easier to use when it's on a desk. Kitchen. So the thing I'd be worried about working in a kitchen is, are the people who are cooking going to be using it? Because I'd be worried about the touchscreen and messy fingers. And a Stream Deck could help with that, but the Stream Decks can also get very messy, and they're not water resistant at all. But I think it really depends on if there's like a separate producer running it or not. But as far as like, it'll work fine. I would have I would trust it to run 9 to 5, no problem. Carlinator says the radio communications are for emergency situations, like if the cell phones stop working, so we can get the networks back up again and coordinate with the government authorities. Oh, cool! Like volunteer ham radio stuff. That's cool. Got a RØDECaster video, Sony ZV1-F, and a green screen. That's a pretty good combo. It's a good start for sure. Mostly non-kitchen people operated. Okay, so yeah, I would say, yeah, I would have no issues with running the Director Mini 9 to 5 every day. Like, I forgot to turn mine off last week, and it's just been sitting here, and it's doing fine. So, Director 1 over the Mini, they're almost exactly the same. It's really just the physical size and the HDMI out, right? And well, the antennas. But everything else is like, the feature set is exactly the same, and the number of inputs is the same. The HDMI out is nice if you need that for anything. I'm running mine into the switcher right now. This one, so you can see the screen. Oh, that reminds me. What's the output menu like for the one? Yeah, so it is the same here. I can show you actually with show you. There it is. So if I have a HDMI plugged in, then external screen, it looks exactly the same, right? So it's program preview, multi-view, duplicate, loop. It just knows it'll either use the HDMI out or the USB-C to HDMI dongle as the output. So same thing. You can do the same thing with it. But if you want to do two, I don't think you can. I actually don't know if I've tried that. Should I try it? Where's my this little thing? Somewhere I have. Let's connect that and that, and then see what happens when I plug it in. Never actually done that before. Let's see if we get 2 copies of it. Nothing is showing up on the second one. Let's unplug that one and see what happens. Maybe it doesn't do USB out at all anymore. I thought this was the right dongle. Is this? Yeah. Or is it the one that doesn't work? That's not one. That's not one. This one. Let's try this one. I vaguely remembered this being a problem last time. This is a uni. Normally it should pop up and say it detected an external monitor. Yeah, it's not finding it. Huh. I thought these did work. Well, maybe it's only HDMI out now. That must be what it is. Okay, well, that answers that. Yeah, there it is. Now we know. Better plug this back in before I forget where it goes. This is normally for the iPad, but the iPad is going to do double duty today and be the photo booth. Oh, that's right. Oops. Have to set USB-C to UVC. I totally forgot about that setting. I thought I'd always have it set to that. Let's fix that. In the settings, USB-C. Oh, it is set to UVC. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong one. Yeah. HDMI out. Display output port. Aha, you can choose. And it restarts the device. Okay, so you cannot do both. Choose HDMI out or USB-C out for the adapter. In which case, obviously, then USB-C would not be UVC mode. So if I do that, it's going to restart. Chats is like about a lightly used director mini if anybody's looking for one recently upgraded to an ATEM Extreme. Oh, wow. That made a sound. I hope you're enjoying the ATEM Extreme. Definitely it's a beast. Robert says, thoughts on the best data sim for YoloBox productions in the US? I have definitely gone through a couple of these myself. I'm using Mint Mobile mostly now, so I actually popped my other Mint Mobile sim into the travel router for the photo booth today. And they're, I don't know if I would say they're the best for streaming, because you have to like choose your monthly capacity, either like a quarter or a year at a time. And if you go over, it's expensive to add more data. But the other one, I found a T-Mobile plan. It's on my eSIM right now, so it's on my one of my phones. But I'm going to try to switch it over to a physical SIM so I can use it, and it's a reasonable price plan. I don't know. I guess I need to do more research on that. Okay, this thing rebooted. So let's go look at the options again. Okay, I thought that might change actually, but now that it's set to USB out, I'm not getting video from the HDMI. So that is, yeah, not showing up. And then yeah, now it found that screen. So it's either one or the other, not both. I am going to switch it back to HDMI. Amaran is a great sale if you need more lights. I bought the 150C for $251. I don't even remember how much these lights were. But that's cool. I should take a look. I don't know if actually, I might need one more light for up there, because I'm going to kind of build that into a second set. Joel says, how do you put the location thing from the YouTube chat on your screen? It's all part of my very custom chat thing. So sorry, not really any repurposable for anybody else. Dan says, do you have a live stream on your channel using the ZV1-F as your camera? Probably. Normally not when I'm sitting here, but if I'm streaming from somewhere else, I have used that as the camera. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't know if I actually have used the ZV1-F, because that's the newest one, right? Because I was using the ZV1 cameras for the main camera for a bunch of the streams. When I was it was 2 years ago when I was traveling a bunch. So, but I don't know if I've actually done the ZV1-F. Let's see if I have it here. There it is. Don't have a battery. I should have the battery adapter. I can plug it in. Matt says I like the original ZV1 the best. I like the there's a lot of I like the new menu system, and I like they fixed the location of the tripod screw on the new ones, because the old one had it right there, which meant you can't open the flap, and which also means you couldn't even put it on a tripod and have a dummy battery connected, or change the battery or SD card without putting it on the whole cage. So I like that, but I actually like the RX 100, the last one. I wish they would. There's so many things about that camera that I like a lot, but but yeah. Dan says I wanted to buy one, but I haven't found anybody showcasing it as a live stream camera, only for vlogging. Okay, well, let's try it out. That's what we're here for. So I'm gonna need to plug it into power though. I did the fire. Oh, that was the ZV1. That's right. That was a pretty good rig. That was when the whole city was on fire. Well, no, the woods were on fire and the city was full of smoke. That was fun. Oh yeah, I also wish they would I really wish that they would put in a notch into this flap so that you could close the lid and keep the cord connected. So what tripod am I going to use for this? I think I will use this one. And then I'm going to route this into... I hope this pops up. Yeah. Dremel. I have thought about it. I think actually in the old one, in the previous one, it wasn't really doable, but this one does look like it's doable. Yeah, this one's doable. This one I could do it because there's just plastic here. With the older ones, I think there's more of this metal in the way. Not that I can't get through metal, but I think just taking off this corner actually would work. I should totally do that. Yeah, it's doable. I can carve out that corner, and that shouldn't hurt anything. Okay. So this is going to go... Don't know what's on that SD card. My SD cards and hard drives situation, they get... I clean them up and I organize them, and then I kind of fall off the wagon again, and I don't know what state these hard drives are in right now. So it's time for another hard drive clean out. Okay. Let's see. Let's flip this out. It hasn't been turned on in a while. Set the time. I don't care. And we are in, let's make sure we're in video mode. Yeah. 60th of a second. Okay. We can flip it around and put it up there. Now I need HDMI out, which I think is micro. Oh yeah, this is also a nice thing on the ZV1-F. The ports are not on the screen side, so they don't block the screen when they're plugged in. There's that. And then I'll wire this into the main switcher here. There it is. And the audio is going to be a little bit off because there's less delay on the ZV1-F compared to the Lumix cameras. So that's the feed from the ZV1-F. And yeah, sorry for the slight audio delay. So the delay from the video delay in the ZV1-F is less than the video delay in the Lumix cameras that I use. So I have added more delay to my audio than I need to for this. I guess I could change it. I'm going to forget to change it back. I know I will. Where is it? Config. Delay is currently set to 165 milliseconds. I'm going to drop it down to like 100. And I have no idea if that's right, but it's probably closer. Having to keep the battery door open would drive me crazy. Let's see, the coloring looks much warmer than, or is it just darker than I would like it? Maybe it's warmer. Let's try to tweak that. The, what is the white balance? Focus mode, autofocus. Focus area, sure. We'll do this. This is kind of fun. Product, autofocus, and then white balance. Ah, it is set to manual. Let's just set to auto. That'll probably look better. And then I guess we can change. ZV1-F seems more contrasty. There's probably some settings I can tweak on that. Creative look. Lots of different color profiles you can choose. And I have no picture profile set. So we're mostly stock. Okay, that's good. Let's see if... Exposure, calm, metering, white balance, color tone, soft skin effect off. Okay, good. There's a lot of different options. Okay, let's put this back up and see what it looks like now. Oh yeah, that's better. Was I showing you the director mini screen that whole time? It's a lot darker. I'm gonna go and manually adjust the exposure here because I just like it a little bit brighter. And this has the does it look a little fuzzy? It's a little bit out of focus. It should autofocus on that. There we go. I don't know how close I can focus. Do you think the ZV1-F is an upgrade to a Logitech 925E? Isn't that a webcam? I don't remember the E on it. I have never had this particular one. I've never had that one. I've had other Logitech cameras, 920E or 920 I have had. Yes, I would say almost certainly yes. This is going to be an upgrade to that. Super source with 2 angles for comparison. Yeah, we can do that. Let me go. We're going to use super source 2 for that. And I can do side by side. So we're going to do the main camera, and the patch 2 is where it's coming in. And now it looks like that. So that one is the Sony, and that's my normal Lumix. It's a very wide shot. I forgot how wide this lens is. So just for comparison, the Lumix camera is almost the same distance away. It's behind that teleprompter, so it's an extra 8 inches or 10 inches. But this is like, I can reach it, right? Like I can touch the camera, and it's a wide shot for being that close to me. Thomas says, with the new ATEM audio routing, is it possible to mute a specific output on the ATEM constellation to a me with or without a Stream Deck? The I don't think the companion module supports the audio routing feature yet, if I remember correctly. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it does yet. Yeah, it was primarily made for vlogging. ZV1 original users wanted to have a wider angle when handheld. Yeah, this is... I'm actually using the ZV1 Mark II for the photo booth today. But this is the ZV1, which has the zoom lens, the electronic zoom lens, and yeah, on the widest angle, it's not as wide as that one. So the ZV1-F is much wider. So the downside is that it's fixed lens, right? So you can't zoom in. You're stuck with that angle. So that's one of the benefits of the other one. The other ZV1 Mark II or ZV1 is that you can adjust it, and you can crop in a little bit if you want. Although this does have a digital zoom, so if I do this is digital zoom, so it's obviously not as good quality as optical zoom, but it is a 4K sensor, which means that you are, and this is a 1080 stream, so I haven't lost resolution yet by doing the digital zoom. So here, that's out all the way, and then this is probably like a little bit more reasonable angle. And now it looks a little closer to this as well. And it's probably still not like too fuzzy to be useful. But I mean, I think this looks fine. I would use it. Yeah, it is at the widest setting. It is a little bit too wide for being that for that far away. But having the camera any closer to me is like really close. Like I would need it. Like where does that start looking like a reasonable? Yeah, like I don't know. How can I show you how close this is to me? You can't really tell. I mean, it's like it's a vlogging camera, right? So it's like I'm holding it not even fully outstretched arm, right? And then this is giving me this angle. So that's why they did it with that wide of a lens. This helped my decision to buy one. Well, cool. Thanks. Use my affiliate link. Here, let me drop a link. ZV1-F. There it is. Brian says, update question from last week. I could create 2 SRT streams from a phone using lyrics and send to 2 Director Minis or Director Mini and OBS. Thanks for the idea. Oh, great. Okay. Using lyrics. Got it. Andre says, the sensor is a bit better than the original, so even a bit of digital zoom does not ruin so much. Yeah, I think it was probably fine. Clear Life Media says, I want to create the rotary dial on a Stream Deck Studio to jump pages. Currently have to go to each page and tell it to go to the next and back. There has to be an easier way to scroll through pages. I 100% agree, and I have not found one yet. I totally agree. I want this to be my page button. Maybe there's a way to do it with variables, because I have it set to change a variable, and that's what that is showing. Is there a way to trigger? Is there a trigger condition on variable change? Oh gosh, I forget what that variable is called. But what I want to do is there a way to change the page? There is. Set to page. Surface. Stream Deck Studio. Use variable for page. So I need to find that variable. No, not that one. Is it this one? I'm on that page. This one. Page nav knob. Okay. Weird. That's not what that's doing. I do need to upgrade to Companion 4. Did they fix that in Companion 4? Because I didn't think they did. I didn't think that was a new thing. But it looks like it's possible. I would just need to spend a little bit more time with this. Because what I can do is make a variable for I can make a variable for create Stream Deck page. Then trigger on that, use this variable. Now I have to remember the syntax for that, which I've completely forgotten. Is it? Yeah. Then make. Oh, but now I'm back to the same problem of I need this button on every page. Close. This helps a little bit, but not exactly what I want. And one time we used 4 of the original concurrently because it has super fast product showcase focus. Oh yeah, Sony ZV1 has always had the best autofocus. I mean, any of the Sony cameras for sure. Somebody asked about ZV1 versus, where was it? There it was. ZV1-F or ZV-E10. Very, very, very different cameras. ZV-E10 is interchangeable lenses. So you get much more choice of lenses, choice of focal lengths, better lenses you get. But yeah, they're similar other than that, I guess. Like they, have the same Sony menu system. The autofocus is good on both. Micro HDMI out on both. I think the battery, the battery slot for the ZV-E10 does have the little notch for the cord to slip out of. So you can hardwire it. Also a good camera, really good camera. Mike says, is it possible to use a Stream Deck with a Director One without using a computer? The YoloDeck is the only thing I miss from YoloLive. It doesn't need to be a computer, but it does need something. So a Raspberry Pi is the smallest way to do it. But there's no direct, you need something in the middle. So the companion software needs to be installed on some computer or computer-shaped thing. It is not possible to install on the Director Mini despite it being an Android device. That would be very cool. But the smallest way to do it is to run it on a Raspberry Pi. And then you plug in the Stream Deck to the Raspberry Pi. Yeah, ZV-E10 is like an A6400 in disguise, totally. It's I think it is the same sensor, right? And it's just like it's got a bunch of the new features that the A6400 doesn't have, but it's the same sensor internally. Chad says, do you know if Mix Effect can use a multi-view SRT feed as the remote web view? If not, what's the best app for operated view SRT feed? Multi-view SRT as the remote web view. If not, what's the best app for operated view SRT feed? I don't think no, because Mix Effect has the webcam feature. So you would need some way to bring it in as a webcam into the iPad, or just have it separate, like on a separate screen. So do you already have an SRT encoder for the multi-view? Is that what you're saying? What's the best app for an operated view? The remote SRT. It's a good question. I don't think I've looked around for that. I don't think I have any apps on my iPad that I've used to pull up remote SRT feeds. Interesting. Any suggestions from the chat? You once wondered if the newer Pis would run Companion as fast as your Mac. Have you found out yet? I have not. Maybe that's what I should do. Instead of upgrading Companion on my Mac, I should just install Companion 4 on the Raspberry Pi 5. That's what I should do. I will do that. Because I do have a Pi 5 somewhere. I forget where it went. It's somewhere around here. CSD Global says, late to the podcast. How's the bike trailer working? So I did a trial run, empty, like not loaded, just the trailer itself. I did a trial run around the block last week after I finished assembling it, and it rolls. I hope it rolls the rest of the day today. I then also learned about trailer weight distribution, which I had no idea. Apparently, if you have too much weight in the back and it's like there's not enough force on the hitch, or if it's even worse, pulling up, then it will like throw the vehicle around. There's some good demos on YouTube of little model cars pulling model trailers on a treadmill. So you need to make sure there's enough weight pushing down on the hitch part. So my wheels are in the center, and the trailer is pretty evenly built, like evenly weight distributed. So with an unloaded trailer, there's not enough weight on the hitch. So when I loaded up with stuff today, I made sure to put the battery, the giant anchor battery, slightly to the front, so it'll put a little bit more weight there. That should fix it, hopefully. So yeah, I did a test run, and then I loaded up with all the gear yesterday, but it was pouring rain for the last 2 days, and I could not take it outside because it was an outrageous amount of rain, even for Portland. And so today it's supposed to be clear the whole day. It's a little overcast, but it's going to get sunny. And this will be the first test of actually rolling around with gear. So cross your fingers. And yeah, so cross your fingers. It rolls. Make sure it stops too. Yes, I mean, it doesn't have its own brakes, but the bike that I'm using with this has disc brakes. So and weirdly ABS brakes, which is kind of cool. But I weighed the trailer with all of the gear on it. So I've got the Anchor battery, which is the heaviest thing. I've got the iMac sitting on top. I've got iPads and what else? The little tiny little printer, tripod, stuff. And the I weighed it and it came out to 190 pounds total, which is actually less than the desk that I hauled on the other bike. And I think it's also less than the countertop slab I hauled. It was hard to weigh that, but yeah. Anyway, 190 pounds is what I'm pulling. The bike has a gross vehicle weight of 450 or something. And that is gross vehicle weight. I guess it's, based on the brakes and what they can stop. Because if your trailer has brakes, then it doesn't count against the gross vehicle weight. So I don't have brakes on the trailer. So between the bike and me and this trailer, and the picnic snacks I'm going to put on my bike, I'm right at the top, possibly 10 or 20 pounds over the limit. I'm sure it'll be fine. They're strong brakes, and they are also, I hauled way more than the Brompton with the little pad brakes is rated for, I'm sure, and it was fine. So might not have seen all member streams about the trailer. How are you protecting the gear from wet weather? I'm not. It is for sunny days only. Although thank you, Gwen, I did not change my delay back. I knew I was going to forget that. What was it? What did I say? 130. Yeah, about that. Yeah, no, it is not protected from wet weather. It is a sunny day trailer only. Although I did get a tarp to just stuff inside for emergencies if it randomly starts raining while I am out. 165. Oh, really? Close enough. How do you do city lights without blinding yourself? Oh, and somebody also asked in a comment about how do I avoid glare on my glasses, and those are both actually related. Let's see if my PTZ camera has a good, can get a good angle of this. Yeah, you can kind of tell with this. So the trick is just the angles. So there are no lights that are at the same height as my eyes, right? So that light, actually, this is in the wrong spot. I didn't put it back. It's supposed to be a little bit more pointing towards me. But this is the main light for my face. This is actually just to light the stuff on the desk. And the little comb in here means I don't even really see it. This is the one for my face, and it's way up there. So the angle of the reflections is like the glare. You don't see the glare until I tilt my head up. There it is. Right. So yeah, it's just the angle. So I don't, it's mostly out of my field of view, and the angle is such that the camera does not see the light in my glasses, and it works well. Dan Splenning says, campaigning on a Pi 5 is noticeably slower than on a Mac, so I stopped doing it. Oh no, really? Well, I might have to try it still. Guitar Coach says, my Alexa listens to the name computer when Aaron just said computer and started playing music. Oh no. Next thing you know, it unhitches and rolls down the hill on its own. Please no. I am going to be going up and down a couple of hills today. Yeah, the route today is going to be fun. Where's my... The route is we're starting at the Tanner Springs Park, which is a fun... in Google, it's called a historic park, which I think is hilarious because it was built in 2005, which is why we're starting the ride there, because this is a 2005 themed ride. But I guess 2005 is historic now. So we're going to go down, possibly straight through there, but maybe around this a little bit, down NATO to do this loop to hit Voodoo Donuts. Not going to stop there, but we're just going to classic donut shop. It's going to have a long line today, I'm sure, of tourists, but there's this little like pedestrian walkway area. This is closed to cars, and I'm going to try to... I'm doing two things. So I'm going to have a photo booth at the beginning and the end, which is this trailer cart. During the ride, I'm going to try to ride a little bit ahead and set up to get photos of the riders passing these locations. So I'm going to try to get a bunch of photos of people in front of Voodoo Donuts. And then right across the Burnside Bridge, which got a bike lane upgrade a while ago, which is nice. And then there's that Portland, Oregon sign is right here. So, and then the Burnside Bridge is a bit of a hill up. So this is about the peak. And I'm going to try to sit at that peak and then get a bunch of photos of the riders with the Portland, Oregon sign in the back, which is actually slightly historically inaccurate because it used to just say made in Oregon, which is that store. But now it says Portland, Oregon. So, you know, and then we're going to loop around here. There's KBOO radio station right there, which will be... I'll try to get some photos again of people in front of that. Do a loop up 7th. This is going to be... This is quite a hill. This is the pedestrian and bike bridge. And that's pretty steep going that direction. So it's really good for photos because the ride will get bunched up because people are going to be going slower, and it'll create like a bottleneck. So again, I'm going to try to ride ahead, go to the top of that hill, and then get photos of people coming up the bridge. That did not exist in 2005, but it's a good route. Then we're going to go into the Lloyd Center. There's a cool little tunnel, like service area here with a tunnel that like where deliveries and trash gets picked up and stuff. We're going to go through that tunnel, ride through the parking lot of the mall, very 2005, and then cross this bridge, which is not nearly as nice. And then the rest of this is mostly just riding to the park. This is a cool little street, Rainbow Road. This strip is closed to cars. A bunch of seating areas for the bars and restaurants there. So we'll ride through that. That'll look pretty cool too. And then ending at the park, which is a bit of a hill to get up to the park as well. So yeah, wish me luck hauling 190 pounds. It'll be a good ride. How do you get the graphic of the trip? So well, the easy version is ridewithgps.com, which is... That's not the right one. This is a really good app. This actually does more than mine does. This shows you elevation too. So here I should have used this to demonstrate the climb we're doing. Burnside Bridge, and then yeah, this is the climb up, not just that bridge, but also up to the Lloyd Center, and then the last climb up to the park, including a really steep bit right there. So this is how I made the route of like clicking into the where I wanted the route to go and like dragging. I had to manually create this because I didn't know about that turn. I didn't know about the parking lot. But you can draw the route here, and then I exported from here a GPX file, converted that to GeoJSON, and then used a mapping library, a JavaScript library, mapping library to pull it into here, which then lets me do things like choose the color of the line, add points of interest with little JavaScript. You can just look at the source code; it's all right here. So it's just adding markers with lats and longs and stuff. So it's just a little bit of JavaScript. No AI to do that, actually. I think the trailer effect is called porpoising, which is quite an amazing name. I agree. That is an amazing name. How are you going to be ahead of the ride and passed by the ride at the same time? That is a very good question. Usually these rides are slow, is the answer. So it is not. I'm probably going to miss some of it because so they're usually slow, and it also depends on how many people show up. If it's like 50 people, then it won't take very long for, like, if I'm stopped here and the ride is coming up, then 50 people will go by in just a couple of seconds. And then I'm going to zip ahead fast. So the only tight one is really this to this, because there's a light we have to wait for, which I won't be able to jump ahead of. So the plan is I stop, shoot a bunch of photos, and then I zip ahead faster than the ride is going to try to get to the next checkpoint while hauling a 190-pound trailer. So I don't know if this is going to work. I almost abandoned the trailer and put everything onto the bike itself, like the printer and the screen and everything on my bike, and just did it that way. Lily was like, you can't do that. You spent all this time building the trailer. You have to use the trailer now. Plus, it'll look more fun hauling the trailer. But yeah. About 4 miles. It is almost 6 miles. That's the other thing, right? The GPS shows you is the total distance. 5.7 miles, 228 feet elevation gain, and also losing 100 feet throughout. Matt says I agree with Lily. It's gonna be interesting. We'll see how it goes. Speaking of which, I need to probably wrap this up so I can start packing the rest of the stuff for the ride. Oh, and I have a Insta360 selfie stick strapped to the side of the trailer with going up so I can film a 360 the whole time. I'm gonna just leave it running like while we're stopped and on the ride, and we'll see how long it lasts. So I'll be able to use that B-roll too and show you that next week. Mike says ZV-E10 with Sigma 16. What's the optimal distance from the lens to the face and then from the person to the backdrop? Parking lot. If you want more of a blurry background, then you need to have a less distance from the camera to the person than the person to the background. Because if you have, if the camera is like far away from everything, there's just not as much separation between the person and the background, and the background won't really look blurry. So if you like, actually I can show you with this one. So this is like f2.0, and you can see that the background's a little bit blurry, but it's not that blurry because it's like I can almost reach that, right? And I can reach the camera and I can almost reach that. So it's almost 50-50. But if I go like this, and if it focuses on me, then the background gets much blurrier because the camera is now 12 inches from my face, maybe 14 inches from my face. Now the camera is very close to my face. Now it's like 6 inches. And the background is very blurry because there's more of a distance there. So that's the trick to the blurry background, is get your camera very, very, very close. Zakari says, I'm having issues with the opacity of overlays using the downstream keyer on the ATEM. Any recommendations? So yeah, so there is what kind of issues actually, because it'll kind of depend on if you have non-transparent graphics in your image pool, then you basically get to you'll end up like having to use the what's it called, the Luma key, clip and gain settings in the key to adjust to choose which part becomes transparent, and that can have interesting effects depending on the source material. If you are trying to export graphics with transparency and getting weird results, it's possible that the export that you're doing is not baking in the transparency correctly. If you use the Photoshop plugin, that's usually where I've had the best luck of, like, the Photoshop plugin exports the graphic directly to the ATEM and it will do the pre-multiply key properly and the image goes into the right format. If you are doing like a PNG export or export in other formats, it will, it can definitely, like, sometimes things get weird. So those are kind of like the different combinations of things to try. Andre says minimum focus distance of the Sigma 16 to 25 centimeters with the ZV-E10, I would say arm's length. Thank you. Not sure where the parking lot thing came from. Okay. Using RGB plus Alpha ProRes 444 export on After Effects. Okay. So try like different image formats, and also see if they have a pre-multiplied option in After Effects. I have not used After Effects in a very, very long time, so I don't remember all the options there. Am I powering the 360 or just one battery? I don't have plans to run power to it. I guess I could, because I have a battery under there. Whoa, it feels like I'm getting a stern talking to. Cool. Okay. I think we're gonna wrap it up. Been going a little more than an hour, and I need to, pack up. I've got my little phone prop to use for the photo booth. This was my actual phone from 2005. The buttons have aged poorly. They used to be brighter white. I miss this phone, honestly. It was such a good phone. It had a little front screen and everything, front camera, and you could take a picture by holding down the button. See a little preview, little selfie camera before that was like a thing. It was great. Flip phone. I got really good at texting without looking at the buttons. I don't know. It's a good size. I've never seen anybody run the 360 with a cord. I wonder if it'll be cut out like the selfie stick. Oh yeah, probably I'll just not do that. Still with Photoshop, but you create a target file with an alpha channel. That's right. That's the one. Okay. We are going to wrap this up. So thanks everybody. Wish me luck hauling almost 200 pounds of gear today. And, actually it is 200 pounds once you count the stuff on the bike. This will be fun. And, wish me luck, and I will report back next week. Hopefully have some time to snip some video clips together from the 360 camera and the Pocket 3 that I'm going to bring to show what's going on, and make pictures of you with the bike. Oh yeah, I will try to get somebody to photograph me riding the bike, because I guess the 360 camera will have it too. All right, thanks everybody. Thanks to the extreme supporters of the channel, Tom, Larry, Andre, Kevin, and Marcin. I appreciate it very much. And thanks to all the other channel members as well. Make sure you've joined the members Discord if you haven't already. And I will probably post a couple photos today in the Discord of the bike ride. So, and if you are a channel member, you can make special effects appear on the screen like that. So yeah, thanks a bunch. We will talk to you all again next week. Same time, same place. Last stream of June. And yeah. Until then, hopefully enjoy the nice weather if you have it out there today. It's gonna be really nice in Portland. So, and if you're in Portland, come join me on the ride, starting at I think 1 or 2. You know where to find me. All right. See you next week. Bye.